Everyone is afraid of physics. People say it's one of the most difficult subjects ever. Some students don't understand the concept, some students don't understand the questions, while some students understand everything but can never solve even one question. Why is physics so difficult? Or maybe it's not. Hello everyone, welcome back, and if you're new here, my name is Tarun and I recently graduated from IIT Kharagpur. And I fell in love with physics before 12 years when I was in class 6. Reading books like Halliday, Resnick, Walker, H.C. Verma and Singh used to be one of my most favorite hobbies ever. And back then my aim was to frame 5 questions which even my teachers won't be able to solve. So right from then to graduating from IIT Kharagpur with a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering and a master's degree in manufacturing sciences, I read books after books and solved questions after questions. And I just love physics. So let me tell you, in the next 8 minutes of your life, I'll make you fall in love with physics. And most importantly, we'll give you a step-by-step guide to master it. Let's start. So first things first, in the next 7 minutes, we'll discuss why everyone feels physics as very difficult, why is it not, and how you can become a pro at it. What is the exact step-by-step method to learn any physics chapter more efficiently? And then if you're a JEE aspirant, what are the most important chapters that you should solve first in order to score your best in JEE Mains and in JEE Advanced? And finally, we'll end this video with one of the biggest blunders that most of the JEE aspirants commit, which you should definitely avoid. This video is going to be epic. Let's start. First, why does everyone feel physics difficult? Simple, because it's being taught in the wrong way and it's being learned in the wrong way. Most people just say this is the axiom, this is the theorem, this is the derivation, this is the formula that you should remember for the exam. But when a student actually goes to the exam, he wouldn't know what formula to use, and most importantly, he wouldn't understand why that exact formula is being used over there. It's like people just forget the missing piece which makes a physical chemistry question different from a physics question in JEE Advanced: the logic. So moving to the next point, how can you become a pro at it? I'll prove this point with an example in the next 1 minute, but first, the method is simple. Instead of learning and mugging up all the formulas in a chapter, just learn the basic formulas, the basic theorems, and the basic derivations in any chapter, because these are the most important things while learning any concept. Now, the next skill that you should develop before solving any question in physics is to read and understand the question well. If you can break down the entire question into parts and apply some basic concepts between them, you're more than halfway done with solving the question. Now, the last step to be able to solve any question in physics is to become a pro at mathematics. Because at a higher level, every physics problem tends to become a maths problem. So you'll need to become good at maths in order to be a pro at physics. That's it. If you can get these 3 basic things right, you're all sorted. And to prove this point, let's take a small example question. This was the question which was being asked in JEE Advanced 2023. And let me actually show you how easy it is. All we'll use is some basics and some logic. So here's the question. A bar of mass m and length L is lying on a horizontal frictionless surface. One end of the bar is pivoted at a point about which it is free to rotate. A small mass m is moving on the same horizontal surface with a velocity v0 on the path perpendicular to the bar. It hits the bar at a distance of L/2 from the pivoted end and returns back on the same path with a speed v. After this elastic collision, the bar rotates with the angular velocity omega. Which of the following is correct? So here we basically need to find the final velocity of the ball and the angular velocity of the rod, right? So let's just go by the basics. So they gave that this is an elastic collision, which means energy is not lost. So energy is conserved over here. And then we have the next thing, which is linear momentum. Is it conserved? No, it's not, because there's a reaction force, right? When you're hitting this, there's a reaction force over here, which means there's an external force onto the system. And what about angular momentum with respect to the point P? Is it conserved? Yes, it is. Why? Because the torque across the point P is 0. So if the torque is 0, it means the angular momentum with respect to this point is conserved. So that's it, done. First we'll conserve the angular momentum with respect to the point P, which means initial angular momentum of the ball with respect to point P plus initial angular momentum of the rod, which is 0, is equals to final angular momentum of the ball plus final angular momentum of the rod with respect to point P. From there we'll get the equation number 1, and then we'll conserve the total energy of the system. And from there we'll get the equation number 2. So once we got these 2 equations, it's just mathematics after that. It's a very simple question if you know the basic definitions of momentum, force, angular momentum and torque. And this is the question asked in JEE Advanced 2023. So that is it. It's simple. Basic concepts and formulas plus some basic logic plus mathematics is the way to succeed in physics. And now as you got a proper clarity about why people find physics difficult and how can you become a pro at it, now let's discuss the step-by-step method in order to become a pro at any chapter in physics in the next 1 minute. And then we'll talk about the most important chapters for JEE Mains and JEE Advanced. Chalo, let's start. This is the exact step-by-step blueprint of it. The first step is to start reading NCERT even before you listen to the class. This sets up the basic understanding of the concepts, generates interest, and also raises some preliminary questions in your mind. The second step is to listen to your classes, and all the questions which are being raised in the first step will be answered if you listen to your classes well. See, now if you just have 3 to 4 months left, I'm so sorry, but you won't be able to finish the first 2 steps. So instead of that, skip both of them and just watch one-shot lectures on YouTube for every chapter. That's the only thing that you can do properly. So once you're done with the step 1 and step 2, the next step is to solve some example questions from either HC Verma, Cengage or Physics Galaxy. And then solve 80 to 90 questions from each chapter. 40 easy, 30 medium and 15 difficult, either from your study material or from any other standard book. And finally, solve some previous year questions and you'll be good to go. If you do all these things right, you'll be able to finish your JEE Mains preparation in something around 3 to 3.5 months and end up scoring somewhere around 80 plus marks in physics. And you'll take something around 6 to 7 months for your JEE Advanced preparation and end up scoring something around 60% to 70%. This is my guarantee. So now before we end this video, let's look at some of the most important chapters both for JEE Mains and JEE Advanced so that you can start your preparation in the right direction and set your priorities in the right direction. This slide that you see on the screen right now is for JEE Mains. Take a screenshot of this right now because it is going to be very useful going forward. And for JEE Mains, I would say semiconductors, communication systems, EM waves and experimental physics are some of the easiest and most important chapters that you should definitely finish. You can easily answer 4 to 6 questions if you know these concepts well through NCERT. And this slide that you see on the screen right now is for JEE Advanced. Take a screenshot of this. This has the easy, medium and most difficult chapters which also have heavy weightage in JEE Advanced. Start from the easy chapters because that will give you the initial momentum and will also help you build confidence in you. Got it? Physics is easy. All you need to do is to get the basics right and apply some logic. For example, in mechanics, things like where is the force acting? Is there friction over there? Is the energy conserved? Is the linear momentum conserved? Is the angular momentum conserved? These are some of the basic things that you should always look at. If you get these things right while solving questions, you're all sorted. Stop getting scared of physics, man. Just get the basics right and solve 50 to 100 questions in each chapter and eventually you'll become the best in your class. And one of the biggest mistakes that students do while learning physics concepts is they just read the concepts, they reread again and they reread the theory again and again and again. But they don't realize that it doesn't help. You need to practice. You need to solve as many questions as possible. Only then you'll succeed. Else, everything, all the theorems, all the concepts that you're reading, rereading again and again and again, it's all in vain. So with that being said, change your perspective towards learning physics. That's the key to success. And that is all for this video. If you do whatever I told you in this video right, and if you have some patience, you'll be unstoppable. And the next video is about photographic memory. You have been waiting for it, I have been waiting for it. Let's wait for it. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Love you.